Hey y'all, it's your girl Fat Girl Freestyle. Thank you for joining me today on Feature Friday with yours truly, Fat Girl Freestyle. July 18th, 2025. We have a very special show for you. But before we get into that, please make sure to comment, like, subscribe, and share the video with your family, friends, even your coworkers and strangers at the grocery store. Today we are interviewing our very special guest at Casa de Milagros Spiritual Wonders at 1120 St. Rock Avenue in New Orleans.
Hello, all. It's Fat Girl Freestyle. Today is Feature Friday, and I have with me a very special guest.
I'm Denise Augustine of Our Sacred Stories.
One of the most talented and knowledgeable tour guides in the city of New Orleans. How are you today, Mother Denise?
Doing very well, Kim.
I met Mother Denise a few years ago, and it was completely by chance. I picked up one of her flyers in a store. And I don't know, one day I just decided to call her, and I don't know how long we stayed on the phone that first time.
Over an hour and a half, almost 2 hours.
It was an instant connection, and I have been blessed to be connected to her ever since. And I am so grateful for that, Mother Denise.
Of course.
Today we are going to talk about, now I know a lot of y'all like to talk about the history of New Orleans, voodoo, Marie Laveau especially. And that is why I have Mother Denise here today, because she is the person. When I tell you the person, she is the person that knows the history, Creole, French, Spanish influence on the city. I trust no one else, okay? Nobody else with information but Mother Denise. Please tell us about Our Sacred Stories, how you got started, what it's all about, what made you want to start it.
So I have done a lot of things to make a living over the years. But one of the subjects that I loved was history, and I was, obsessed with it. And so when my son was in Catholic schools, when it came time to pay tuition, I would go out in the French Quarter where we live. I'd go out in the street and I would do tours for people for donations so I could pay his tuition. And then when I retired, I was a medical coder and biller. And when I retired, I said, you know what? I'm going to do the thing that I love the most. And I actually formed my company, Our Sacred Stories, in 2016. But I had been doing tours for over 40 years, part-time, for myself and for other people. So I formed my company and decided that the focus would be on Afro-Creole culture, because this is the culture of New Orleans.
Wonderful. Now, I haven't taken the tour, Mother Denise, but I promise you I will. But please tell us, what are some of your favorite spots or people or things to discuss when you're giving the tour? Like, what, somebody's coming to New Orleans, they want to go Our Sacred Stories. What are the main things that you like for them to know?
Okay, first off, you cannot talk about the African presence or the Native American presence in New Orleans without going to Congo Square. Congo Square is absolutely necessary to start the history of Afro-Creolism in New Orleans. So my tour starts in Congo Square. We talk about the Native American tribes that would come there. Then we talk about the African presence, which started to arrive in mass 1 year after the founding of the city. And then we go through Congo Square, through Louis Armstrong Park, which was actually a neighborhood when I was a child, and I grew up there. We talk about some of the things that we lost, how large the park is. We talk about jazz, its foundation, why it was something that nice people didn't participate in. Jazz was not started with polite narratives, and the songs many of them had a heavy sexual connotation. I teach you the rhythms of the second line. And because second line is an improvisational dance, I will give you the rhythm, show you how it's done, and then you get to do your own second line. We will pour libations to the ancestors because I am not, I am so grateful to my ancestors for surviving first that 12-week trip across in the transatlantic slave voyage, but also their survival techniques, the medicines that they use, the herbalism. We'll talk about voodoo, what is really voodoo, not what Madison Avenue movies are voodoo in this evil connotation. It only became evil after these Haitians took over that island and the Europeans couldn't get it back. Then they, started to disrespect our religious beliefs by saying that we were in league with the devil. Anyway, we'll get a true story of voodoo in New Orleans, in the diaspora, and then we will talk about some of the black masking traditions. Take a picture in front of Louis Armstrong's statue, finish up with a stroll through Chime, the oldest black neighborhood set aside for free people of color. We will talk about the population. I always say the French Quarter is the history, but we are the culture. Chime is the culture. This neighborhood sprung from a brick plantation, and we'll talk about it being set aside by Claude Chime and a biracial wife who they legally married. I recently found their marriage certificate, a woman by the name of Julie Moreau. And so we'll finish up in Chime at the end by the Tomb of the Unknown Slave. And I'll tell you how this came about. The oldest black Catholic parish in America, and the move to try and save this church that has so much historical value. So when I finish with you, we'll have 15 minutes or 20 minutes of questions. I do not rush a tour because when you walk away, I have two goals. One is to make you fall deeper in love with this city, and the other is to start you on a journey of understanding, research of culture and traditions, because we're unlike anywhere else in the country. So, unique in our own respects.
And y'all see why I love this lady? You see why I love her? Because being here, born and raised, there are so many things that I don't know, never knew. And through you, just sharing bits and pieces with me, I'm learning. And I'm learning to love the city even more. I'm learning to appreciate the culture of the people even more. And I'm also learning that certain things need to be held more sacred. But see, the younger generations don't understand that because they don't have people like you. But we are going to do our best to get you connected to the younger generations,
right,
so they can understand.
Right. There's just so many things about our culture that is sacred. There are reasons we do certain things. Our superstitions, like don't buy a broom and a mop in the month of June, right? Because you're in the middle of the year, right? Don't do it in June. Don't do anything. June is a time to be quiet and prayerful, to look forward, to make plans, to look forward to the second half of the year. So if you're going to do a major cleaning, do that major cleaning April or May, right? Take down the curtains, vacuum the curtains, change the house, whatever you're going to do. Quiet in June, because you're setting intentions for the rest of the year. We don't want no broom, no mop, nothing. Whatever it is, we're going to fix it in the month of June. We don't need you fixing nothing in the month of June. And then when July comes, if you want to do this major cleaning, we're into the second half. But June is a time of contemplation, right? A time to set intentions and a time to make plans for the second part of the year. So meditation, light ritual work, set your candles, write your petitions, you know, you're allowed to spray holy water and mint or with curacao, this kind of stuff. But no major cleaning before. You got to do it before June 1st or after or July 1st. Mm-hmm. So that's why we don't buy a new broom and a mop in June. Some of the other rituals and traditions we have is if you have a problem, and we believe New Orleans is more hoodoo than it is voodoo. And so there's a lot of writing of petitions, and there's a certain way that you have to write them. The Mississippi River plays a major part also in our ritual work. You write your petitions, you fold them a certain way, and you walk to that river, and you throw them in the river. Let the river take your problems away, right? It will take away people. It'll take away problems, right? It will set your intentions out to the world, right? And so throwing things in the Mississippi River is a big part of our culture. Going to the river and speaking in that water. Go early in the morning. Sunday mornings are the best time. Go early in the morning because everybody's laid up from being drunk, and you done ate too much on Saturday night, and you done stayed up too late, and you done had that fifth glass of wine, which is very much our French tradition, and sleeping until 9 or 10 o'clock and getting up. I have remembered that I got up running for the last mass of the day, which is the 8 o'clock mass down in the Central Business District, because I got so caught up of getting late, going to brunch. We love Sundays here, going to the second line. But if you get up, if water has power, get up early on a Sunday morning. Walk if you can, and pray your way to that river. When you get to that river, you lean and you tell that river what you need, what you want to go away. Remember, the river is nothing but a big altar to us. The Mississippi River is an altar, right? And so you leave what you want and you leave what you don't want at an altar, and you let the spirits take care of it. So many of our cultural practices has to do with water and altars and candles and this kind of thing. One of the things I love about Marie Laveau is Marie is the first woman, and if you look at my shirt, it says Marie Laveau, it's upside down. Marie Laveau, New Orleans original black magic woman, right? And so what I love about Marie is Marie was out of the closet with her voodoo, with her spiritual practice. Everybody else, you had to sneak in the back door, and they were doing work in secret, and they were hiding the work. Marie was live and in living color, doing ceremonies in public, doing rituals in public, washing people's head in voodoo baptism, holding ceremonies in her yard. And so Marie is the first one that's out of the closet with her practices. So even though we had many voodoo women at the time, Marie was the one who was unashamed of her ancestral practices.
Why do you think she was, I don't want to say allowed, but like you say, a lot of people had to hide. Why do you think she was so open and forward?
Devoutly Catholic, very close to her priest, the priest who married her, very, very close to her priest. She was at Mass every morning at 7 o'clock in the morning. And I'm sure she discussed her Africanized spiritual practices with her priests. And because she was so devoutly Catholic, and she was the most well-known voodoo practitioner that's buried on holy ground in a Catholic cemetery. So, I mean, it had to be accepted, or the Catholic Church would have put pressure on her to stop it. But the Catholic Church knows who we are, and knows that voodoo is the oldest unrecognized religion on the planet. Knows that it's not this evil thing that people have perpetrated it to be. Know that we recognize God in all forms. Even the cosmology that God flung into the air has power. Everything that God made has life and a spirit in it. That's like saying I can be separated. Even Christianity tells you you cannot be separated from God. Well, you can't be separated from God because you are a part of God because God made you. It's like being separated from your parents. Mm-hmm. You can never be separated from your parents. You carry their DNA. And DNA has a lot more things to do than, it carries cultural memory. I know that of the women in my family, I carry the cultural memory. Now let me tell you why. My grandmother had 5 sisters, and I think it was 7 brothers. Of those 5 sisters, my grandmother had 1 child. Nobody else conceived a child. Had 1 child, my mother. My mother had 1 child, which is me. And she had me at 35 years old. Do you think for 1 minute I am arrogant enough to believe that I am an accident of spirit? Insanity. I am no accident. And so I ran from the gifts. I didn't want to be burdened with that. I wanted to be the disco queen. I ran from the gifts. And then people, then and now, continue to show up. People who are spiritually bounded. When you're spiritually bounded, there's no running. You're bound to spirit. You're bound to this belief system, to this culture. All you have to do, you have a problem, all you have to do is be quiet. Let spirit know, I can't fix this, what am I to do? Spirit's going to tell you what to do, going to tell you how to do it, or it's going to send somebody to tell you what to do or how to do it. That's when you're spiritually bounded. So I had to recognize that the people that come into my life are there for a spiritual reason. Right now, my friend's down from New York to take care of me for a little procedure I have to have. I don't know nobody. If she tell you something, put the Brent on it. Because it may not happen today or tomorrow, but if you look in the future, it's going to show up. She called me. She said, didn't I tell you so-and-so was going to happen? I said, yeah. She said, turn on the news because my TV got dust on it. I don't turn on the TV. I don't want to hear it. Shit, I know they're doing evil. I'm too busy trying to work through this evil that they're doing. So Marie Laveau was recognized that she was spiritually bound, right? And so she did things in the open. Catholic Church did not allow it. The Catholic Church recognized her ability to try and heal. She had yellow fever at the age of 12. She was, you didn't get it again. She had the antibodies, the immunity to it. We didn't know nothing about antibodies and immunity at the time, but we knew that she could go around people with yellow fever and work to heal them with herbs and not catch it again. You understand? She is known to have a prison ministry, to go and make food and put something in that gumbo to ease the suffering and the fear of the men that were going to the gallows, right? This not only healed the community, the family of these men, right? She was known to put lovers together. People who wouldn't normally be able, like if a white man was in love with a black enslaved girl, the white man knew he couldn't go and buy her himself because he would be suspect. They loved each other. Now remember, there's rape, but there's also romance. Because Marie was in a relationship with a white man for over 30 years. She had 7 children for him. That is not rape. That is definitely romance. They're buried together in the Catholic cemetery. They're buried in the same tomb. So what she would do, what she and her husband would do, was buy the girl and then make the papers so this girl, for the courts, that this girl could never be enslaved again. She is permanently free. And then collect the money from the man who loves her so those two people could be together. So she's a mother of interracial relationships. You're in an interracial relationship and you don't have an interracial altar in your house to Marie, and there's a certain way to set up an altar in your house. If you're in an interracial relationship, there's certain things you need to put on that altar to keep the sweetness going. This woman did everything out in the open. Her relationship didn't hide. Her voodoo practice didn't hide. Her spell work, casting, ritual work didn't hide. She didn't hide the products that she made. And that's why I have so much respect for Marie. She was a force of nature.
My thing is, and I'm so glad you clarified that, because a lot of people feel like she was a woman to be feared. And that's what a lot of people, that's what their line of thinking is.
That is the narrative that people have put forth about voodoo being something to fear. Oh, it's bad. Honey, I know Christians that are bad. There's good and bad in everything. Your intentions in spiritual work is what sets the tone. But I have this to say. Whether you're a Christian, a voodoo practitioner, a hoodoo practitioner, candomblé, obia, I don't care what you practice. What you throw out is coming back. So if you throw evil out, it's going to come back on you or your children. You will set up generational curses doing evil shit and not be thinking you can get away with it. You may not pay for it, but your children will pay for it, or your grandchildren will pay for it. I'm not saying you're not allowed to protect yourself. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if you dig one hole, dig 2. Because you're going to fall in it, one of them, or your children's going to fall in one of them. Careful of what you do. When you do spiritual work, your hands are supposed to be cleaner than anybody else's hands. And if anybody invites to do evil work for you or dirty work for you, you're on your own on that one. You're on your own with that.
We talk about that a lot here, and there's a lot of people who get on TikTok and they show people how to do different things, and
yeah, no.
I don't agree with that.
I'm not doing it.
I don't agree with that.
I'm not doing it. I'm in my 70s, and I'm not doing it.
Yeah,
I'm not doing it. You understand? Listen, you can't serve 2 masters. Either you're going to do good for the community like Marie did. Marie did good for the community. You know, you can be burying people in urine and all of that under the steps and all that foolishness, but that's on you. Sweet jars, sweeten situations, right? Sweeten situations. Wish people. Let me tell you, I worked in the tourist industry. I was a cocktail waitress. I was a pretty young thing. Made money hand over fist. Spent it as fast as I made it. Girl, baby. We had a bartender. Couldn't get to me. And when this boy realized I would never go out with him, he made my life hell. Baby, I started throwing holy water. I'd go in early to work. I started throwing holy water in the shape of a cross 3 times across that back of that ball where he had to walk. I dropped tiny bits of honey, and I would speak to that floor, and I'd speak to where he was. I'd say, you know what? He deserves a better job somewhere else because I like this one. I wished him the best of luck. He got a management position at the Sheraton, and we was at the Hyatt. He was they made him an offer he couldn't refuse. And look what I told him. Oh, baby, I'm sure gonna miss you. Oh, baby, I'm sure gonna miss you. Oh, I'm gonna miss you. That baby took me 3 months to move him.
Yes,
3 months. But my son said, I'm notorious for moving people.
Yes,
I will move you to a better position, a better life. I want you to have the best life somewhere else.
So you see, y'all, it doesn't have to be wishing bad on somebody.
No.
Just move them out of your space.
They need to go.
They
need to go somewhere and be happy somewhere else. Instead of torturing me, go be the manager at the Sheraton. I don't care where you go, but just go be happy. I'm not gonna let nothing say. I could have did some horrible things to him. It's not like I don't know how, but I've been warned by my elders. Remember, I grew up in the house with all them old aunts. My mother was an only child, so that means she had 4 aunts, right? I had 4 great aunts. Some of them were still alive. Only one of them was dead when I came along. And so I grew up in the house with my grandmother, my Aunt Louise, the one, my Aunt Corazelle, who we call Nanny, who was a powerful voodoo practitioner. She did the work for the family. You understand? There's always somebody in the family who back then that do the work, right? Somebody do the work. And I'm going to tell you something. You want power? You want intuition? You want psychic ability? Pray and meditate. You can pray, but as long as you talking, God can't talk. So make your prayers with passion. Walk that house. My grandmother used to clap her hands, breaking up them spirits. Open both doors, run them bad ones out of the house with bad feelings. Pray, walk up and down and pray. Spray that holy water. Call on those saints, right? But then you sit quiet. When you sit quiet, once you shut up, then God's going to talk. Spirit's going to talk, right? Let me tell you when else he talk. If you wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, don't rush yourself back to sleep. I have the ability to put myself to sleep at any time of the day. I can go home right now and lay down and put myself to sleep. There's a method that I use to put myself to sleep. Wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. That's not the time to go back to sleep. That's the time when Spirit speaks. You can lay in that bed. If you can keep from going back to sleep, lay in that bed and let God do the download. We call it doing the download. If you know you're going to fall back to sleep, get up and go sit in a quiet place on the sofa in your favorite chair. Sit there and let God do the download. And everything you need is either going to come to you, or God's going to send people to you to tell you what you need to know. How do you do this? How do I fix that? How can I do this? How can I do that? That's when I get my money-making ideas. My money-making ideas. My prayers, because I write prayers. You know, I write beginnings of prayers for people's petitions. The top of the petition paper will have a prayer calling in the saints, calling in the spirits. Then at the bottom of that, you write your permission and write your name. God knows you by your name. God knows you by your name. That's why every now and then you'll be walking and you'll hear your name called. They call you by your name, right? Write your petitions, write your name out on your petition. You don't write your name out, that petition, the Spirit said, well, who this is for? Are you writing a petition for you? Or are you writing a petition for somebody else, right? See your children as successful. See yourself at college graduations, right? What you put out in spirit is going to come back. Let me tell you, I used to be a Ross shopper. I'm going to let you go because I know this whole video can't be about me.
No, please continue.
So,
because I still have a couple more things I want to ask.
So, I was a Ross shopper. And for a while, Ross was putting out all these little Buddhas. I had a green Buddha. I had a gold Buddha. I had like 15 Buddhas. I had so many of them, I started putting them on the porch. Buddhas was everywhere. I got a Buddha on my porch today. And I'm not a Buddhist. Had no intention on being a Buddhist. But if you looked at the way my house was decorated, you'd think this girl into Buddhism. A friend of mine moves to Thailand. I said, I want to come to Thailand. She said, okay. Girl, next thing you know, don't ask me where the money come. I got $1,800 for a trip to Thailand. I got money for the hotel room. Once you get there, food is cheap. Well, food is cheap for most people, but you know, I'm a sedity foodie. All right, so food ain't cheap nowhere for me. I could be in an African village and it's gonna cost me twice as much as it's gonna cost everybody else because of the way I eat. I like fine food. Next thing you know, I'm in Thailand. Now Thailand is the home of all kind of Buddhas. I saw the leaning Buddha. I saw the largest Buddha in the world. I saw the gold Buddha. Every day I'm in some temple. My hotel room was next to a temple. So I come back and one day, because you know I'm flying by the seat of my pants at all times. You know, this looks good, that looks good. I'm a true lover of life and the things that I'll taste out of every pot. Oh, that look good. Oh, that look good. I just love this. So I get back home. I'm exhausted. I got jet lag from hell. And I'm sitting up there one day. I said, now, how did I end up in Thailand of all places? I never wanted to go to Southeast Asia. And I just sat there after saying the question just out loud. And Spirit said, well, we saw all the Buddhas in your house. We thought you wanted to go. We thought you wanted to go. You had Buddhas everywhere. So we put you in a position to go where all the Buddhas are, right? I mean, I saw a Buddha in a tree. I saw, you name it, I saw Buddhas. So I came back home. I went on Amazon. And I bought all this fake money. It looked real. $100 bills. And I started making these things to hang on the wall with $100 bills. I'm telling Spirit, I want money. If he sent me with all the Buddhas. Yeah. So baby, look, I take $100 bills that I order from Amazon. And I put a prayer in the middle, a prosperity prayer in the middle. And I set that prayer on $100 bills everywhere. And I anoint it. I done sent them things. People say, Miss Denise, will you make me one? Yeah, give me a couple of weeks. I done sent one to my friend who's supposed to go to France with me. I done sent one to Seattle, Washington. I done sent one to another friend that lives in Utah. All of them having money issues. I done sent them here. I done sent them there. The friend of mine in Virginia, this people had been owing her money for 10 years.
Wow.
The woman got a lawsuit and called her. Now they done fell out now because she didn't pay her money. The woman got a lick, what we call a lick. You know, I need a little money lick. The woman got a lick and called. I got you $10,000. I'm sorry that it broke our friendship, but I'd like to work on our friendship. I know I was wrong, but I didn't know what to do. I was in a bad situation. I couldn't pay you back, and I didn't know how to tell you. She said, but I did get lawsuit money, and I want to give you your money back. What are the odds of a 10-year loan that then broke up a friendship to come back to you? She said, baby, I used to walk past that money thing on the wall. Money coming all day, every day. She said, I used to talk to it. She said, and here come my money back. So, yeah. So spirit works in a lot of ways, and there are a lot of tools. There's a lot of tools for prosperity, and for love to come into your life, and for healing to come into your life. But you got to speak it. You got to be active in it. You got to activate it. You got to do it all day, every day. Right? You can do your rituals. You can write your amount. She's telling me about bay leaf yesterday. I know to write the amount on bay leaf. Write that amount on bay leaf. Baby, I walked the house, fanning that money bay leaf on me. I know you're coming. Because I have still yet, it's funny, in my 70s, I have goals like I'm in my 30s. I have goals. I'm starting a whole new tour called the Simple and Sacred Tour. I'm going to send you the flyers. I got to have the flyers proofread. I'm going to send you the flyers. And I'm starting a whole new tour at 5 o'clock in the evening. Now, the problem is, I will go, and when wintertime comes, because I hate the cold weather, I'll come out and do the introduction, and I'll probably hire somebody to do the rest of the tour. But I'll come out and greet my people, do an introduction, and then, talk about jazz music, which had dirty lyrics, talk about our legalized prostitution area called Storyville, talk about some of the madams, some of the, people who worked Storyville, right? Because it was a whole culture. Storyville was a whole industry in and of itself. And so, that's something to talk about. And my mother was actually born in Storyville. And I actually have the only 4 women who were sisters to work out the same house. They worked out of a double house. And how do I find that? Is because I'm digging in my
Your house?
Out of their house.
Oh, out of their house.
Out of their house. I think it was 1530.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the house you own.
No, the house is not there anymore. They tore down the house to put in the Iberville project. But the reason we know it is they used to advertise in the blue books. And I got a copy of the blue book with their names. Bella, Della, Stella, and one called Francis. And I got oral histories because, you see, remember, I'm the only great niece they had. So when I was sitting there peeling 17 pounds of shrimp for the holidays, because when you're young, they give you the worst jobs. See, cooking is in New Orleans. The way we cook, it's not just cooking a meal. It's a whole performance and production. And if you're sitting at that table, you got a job.
Yeah.
You're not sitting there for free. You're going to cut okra. You're going to chop seasoning. You're going to do something if you're going to be at that table. Since I'm the only great niece, I'm at the table. I was never stupid. I knew to sit there and listen.
Mm-hmm.
There's a storytelling is a part of our culture. And the one that's actually putting the food together, frying that okra slime out of it, right? It's telling the story. She's working the room like a professional. Even though we've heard these stories over and over again, there's always something extra. So that's how I became a storyteller. There's a art to it. It's not only oral, but it's physical. I'm going to take you on that ride. We're about to hit a ride. We're going to take you on the peaks and the valleys of that ride. Make you see color. I'm going to make you see activity. And I learned this from the best, from those cooks in that old too small Creole kitchen. And so I got the oral history of Frances and what her behavior and personality was. One of them was a thief. She'd pick your pocket as soon as look at you. She would disguise herself to shoplift in the stores in the French Quarter. And she had a personality that was dripping with honey. Even though she was a thief, if you were sick, this one had a soft heart. She didn't have a soft heart for your stuff. But if you were sick and you owned the store and she found out you were sick, she may have shoplifted out of your store, but she was the one that was coming with soup and with herbs and with teas and with poultices. As long as you're sick, she's not going to steal from you. Not going to hurt somebody that's hurting. Now, the minute you get healthy and you back on your, she can't be trusted in your stuff. That's the personality. That's the personality of Bella. That's Bella's personality. One of them was a perpetual teenager in that she never aged. She looked like a teenager. And this is in my book. They put her at the window to get men in. When the men get in, then you done fell into the trap. You're not getting her. You getting one of the other sisters, but you ain't getting her because no, she was to get you. She's a pretty thing in the window. She looked like my friend, my Indian friend, coal black hair, black as night, with the most innocent looking eyes, honey. She looked like sugar wouldn't melt in her mouth. She just needs you to get in the door. And then them other ones got you. Have a nice drink. Have a this. Have a that. They start plying you. And then, but you're never getting her. You're never getting her. But so I come from while most people brag about, I'm descendant from this and I'm descendant from, I can trace my family back to the King of France, so I can trace my family. I got a friend like that. I told him I was in a little salon with him because we have these history salons. I was with him the other day in a little salon. We were having, refreshments and history. That's the best party you could go to. And I told him, I said, yeah, you're descendant from all these highfalutin people. I got 4 prostitutes. And I got the stories. I got the stories. That's right. Soft-hearted, generous, kind. But that's what they did for a living. What am I supposed to do? Hide them? I'm not hiding them people who sacrificed and survived to bring me to where I'm sitting at this table with you. I will not be shamed. You cannot make me shame for these people who took insults that I probably slapped your face for, who was disrespected, right? Disadvantaged, right? I'm not hiding my ancestors. What? To sit at a table with you because you was you're not that. You want to sit at the table with me. I got the stories. You got boring. Your ancestors are boring. Mine lived this life, hit the ground running, and set fire to the streets.
Yes, indeed.
So,
yes, indeed, Mother Denise. Which leads me to this next thing. And I really hope you share it with the audience. The time you encountered a serial killer. I need you to tell us that story. Please, Mother Denise, if you don't mind. And survived, of course, obviously, unharmed.
So, I was working as a cocktail waitress. And I didn't learn to drive. I grew up, Chime in the French Quarter.
Everything is walking distance.
Everything was walking distance. Downtown was walking distance. Library, post office, shopping. I didn't know how to drive. None of them women that I grew up with knew how to drive. I learned to drive around 35 years old when I was forced to learn how to drive. But we walked everywhere. I could walk to the French Quarter. I could walk to the restaurants. Walk to work. We walked to work every morning. But when I went to work at the Hyatt, I went to work at night. And this is 1980s. And walking wasn't safe from in the distance where I was walking. Remember, we're in the middle of the beginning of the crack era. Things became dangerous. So I'd get attacked, and I had moved out of Chime into what's called back of town, further back, Cross Broad on South Cedar Street. Now, I had been a hippie in the French Quarter. I knew everybody, knew everything. And I used to hang out with, all times of days and nights. And there was this man I knew from the 70s. His name was Russell L. Wood. He was a cab driver, so when I came out the Hyatt, I was no longer discoing and partying. By the time I was 25 years old, I was burnt out on that because I don't have to do anything. And so I jumped in the back of the cab, gave him my address. He said, "Hey, Denise." I said, "Hey, Russell." He said, started driving. When he started driving, he said, "You want to smoke a joint?" When he said that, the air in the cab changed. I have always been a lot of things, but I've always been one thing, and that one thing is obedient to Spirit. If Spirit speaks, I'm going to listen. I'm not going to question. I'm not going to think about it. If Spirit said, "Go here and do this," I'm going to go here, because I know once Spirit speaks, the path has already been laid out. So when he said, "Do you want to smoke a joint?" and the air changed in the taxi, a clock appeared on my right-hand side, and it said, tick, tick. And someone sat next to me in that cab, because I could feel the seat go down. And whoever it was whispered in my ear, and I cannot tell you whether it was a man or a woman. The voice didn't have a gender. And it said, "Tell him you called home before you left work." And I said to him, I said, "Oh no, Russell, I don't do no drugs." I said, "As a matter of fact, I called home before I left work. My family can tell the time by me." And it was a bench seat cab. And he put his arm on that bench seat, and he looked back at me with a sneer. He said, "You're a good girl, aren't you?" I said, "That's right." I said, "I'm a good girl." I said, "All I do is work to take care of my family." I said, "They know I'll be home in 5 to 10 minutes. Not another word was spoken between us. Not one word was spoken between us. That whole ride. I paid him. I got out the cab, and I lived upstairs. And as a single woman, I lived upstairs because it's harder for you to break in on me. It's harder for you. You're going to get a ladder to break into my back window, right? When I got to the landing on the first set of steps, there was a landing, then the second set of steps, the porch and the door was there. He was sitting in the cab watching me. And when I got to that landing, I called out. I said, Mama's home. I said, open the door. Mom's home. And when I said that, he pulled off in the cab. 3 months later, he was arrested by the police because he was dumping bodies off an airline highway, women, and serial killers go back to the dump site. Serial killers go back to the dump site. He spat on one of the girls, and they were still just starting to use DNA to solve crimes. And they got the DNA from him. And when he went back to the dump site, the police was hiding in the swamp, and they caught him. And when I read in the paper that they caught him and who it was, the memories came flooding back to me about my encounter. I hadn't thought about it, but my encounter with this man 3 months prior. And of course, I'm big on thanking my ancestors. Baby, I ran that house because when spirit hit me, I take off running. I'm 70-some years old, and you think I'm a track star when spirit hit me. Baby, I ran up and down that house thanking my ancestors, calling them by name, because I don't know who that was that sat next to me. But baby, when I thought about it, and thought about being obedient, if I can't leave you but with one thing, when spirit tells you something, the pathway for you has already been laid out. Do it. Have courage. They ask you, spirit say, this is a business, this is a business. Spirit tell you, walk away, walk away. You're not going to starve. When spirit tells you something, there's already the way that has been made for you. It's for you see, when you're late, this is the other thing. Can't find the keys, right? Feel like you can't get out the house, right? Got up at 6 o'clock in the morning to get out the house for 8 and still can't get out the house. You're being delayed for a reason, right? That you're being, spirit's holding you up for a reason. Keeping you out of that accident. Keeping you out of that shooting. Keeping you out of something. Keeping you away from something. When you look like you swimming through peanut butter, I call it. No matter how hard you try, you just can't get to the next step. You're being held up for a reason. When it's time for you to go, pathway is going to be good. You can go, right? You're going to look like time's going to hold up for you. Let me tell you something. I have had time stop and still wasn't late. After all of these things that held me up, got to the place 2 minutes before I was supposed to be there. You don't control anything. You're not driving this bus. Spirit is driving it. Have faith that he's driving it for you. Just for you. Never be concerned about other people. Everybody, everything that you want in this life is available to you. There's no limit. God doesn't work in limitations. Plant one red bean in the ground and see how many red. God is prolific in his blessings. God is prolific. There's not a limited amount of money. There's not a limited amount of diamonds. Not a limited amount of this, that, or the other. There's enough for you. There's no limitation. That's why you never have to be jealous. Look at that person got that. Look at that person. Look where I am, Lord. Stop watching them and start watching what you're supposed to be doing. And you could have what you want, not what they have. What they have is for them. What's for you is for you. And nothing and nobody can stop you if you stand in faith, be obedient to spirit, and trust what Spirit tells you. I'm out of that car because Spirit told me to start talking about I called home. In other words, I didn't know he was a serial killer. But the more I talk, the less good I look to kill. You understand? The more likely you was to get caught. That's why Spirit told me to tell him I called home before I left. So the alarm is already set if I'm more than 15 minutes late getting home. Child, ain't nobody was in that house but me. He didn't know that. That's why I said, Mom's home, open the door. He thought there was a bunch of people in that house with me. Because who's to say he wouldn't have come back? You get it? Who's to say he wouldn't have said, oh, she in there by herself, I'm going to come back for her. Yeah, I'm obedient. Was then, still obedient. Listen, as crazy and wild as I was, how something didn't happen to me, I do not know. Other than I'm divinely protected. Right? Divinely protected. In my 70s, I can tell you, girl, went off with people. People say, you want to go to Chicago? Let's go. Girl, I get on a plane with a stranger in a minute. Girl, you was taking me on an adventure? Girl, I flew way to England to meet a man I had met one time in a hotel. One time, he was a guest in the hotel. You want to come to England? Yes, I do. Oh, I was a pretty young thing.
You still pretty, Mother Denise.
Baby,
you still got.
You want to come? Girl, could have been anything. Could have been serial killer. Could have been any. You want to come? Yes, I do. I want to come. He had passport one. Went down to the used to go down to the passport office. Think passports were $25 or something. The first one I got. Girl, got a passport. Went and met this man I didn't know from Adam. Could have sold me into slavery. I could be in Saudi Arabia right now, washing somebody's dirty drawers. Who knows? Girl, I could have been, girl. Please, after they used me up, let the camel have me and everything else. I could have been.
Lord, this lady, Lord have mercy.
Girl. Grateful. I sit here in gratitude.
I am certainly grateful. And I know every person who has met you is grateful that you are still here, that you are telling your stories.
Thank you.
And that you are willing to share your love and your light with all of us.
Absolutely. It has been my pleasure. I wouldn't want it to be, and I wouldn't want to be any other place but sitting next to one of my spiritual children. I wouldn't rather be, there's nothing I'd rather be doing than telling the stories of this city, of its culture and its people, of its food and its passions and its religion and how we move through this world. New Orleans moves different. I mean, they did the song, They're Not Like Us. We the original, They're Not Like Us. Child, sometimes it takes a translator to talk to us. we be saying stuff people don't know what the hell we're talking about. You understand? And everybody's baby, right?
Yeah.
Well, hey, baby.
Oh, hey, baby. I love you so much, Mother Denise. Thank you so much for being with me today.
It has been my pleasure, honey.
I know the comments. I know y'all gonna love Mother Denise. I can't wait to share the comments.
Listen, when you come to New Orleans, check our Sacred Stories tour, and we really gonna cut up. We really gonna talk about it.
I'm gonna put Mother Denise's information, her social media, her website, everything down in the description box, so y'all can check and make sure y'all follow her on her social media platforms. You have Instagram, TikTok.
I have Instagram, TikTok. And today I decided to do a YouTube channel. It's going to be called Our Sacred Stories, Culture, Traditions, and Mashuket. Now, Mashuket in my Creole dialect, Mashuket means like, I'm going to be messy, right? Mashuket, so I'm going to give you history, culture, traditions, and then at the end, I'm going to be messy. I'm going to do mashuket on how, when things are not right or why we do certain things that we It's just we shouldn't. Or like for instance, when they move things. See, in New Orleans, we don't like you to move nothing. We don't like you to change nothing. Don't tear nothing down. Don't be moving nothing. And so I'm going to give you the machuquette at the end of my YouTube videos. So thank you for the lesson in YouTube. I absolutely love it. So look for a proliferation of YouTube videos because I'm obsessive.
Well, baby, I'm certainly gonna share them, and we're gonna make sure that y'all subscribe to Mother Denise's channel.
And subscribe to my spiritual child who gave me this opportunity. Please subscribe. It has been my pleasure, and thank you so much.
Mother Denise, I'm gonna have you on here again.
Okay.
So we can talk about a few more things. I don't know. This might be a little segment that we do once or twice a month.
Yeah, that sounds wonderful.
I think that'll be a good idea.
Yeah, that sounds wonderful to me.
All right.
Because there's so many subjects.
Yes.
There's voodoo, there's hoodoo, there's cooking, the way we cook, what we eat. Because I'll eat anything. If your kitchen is clean, just don't tell me what it looked like with his clothes on. I'll eat it. I just don't want a picture of him in my head while I'm eating it. So long as you don't, because I'm very visual, don't tell me what he looked like. Don't tell me what it is. If you don't tell me what it is and it's got plenty seasoning, I can eat it. And Lord, please don't make potato salad because I love potato salad. All right, my darling, I'm going to get my day started.
All right, Mother Denise, I love you.
Love you too.
Thank you so much for joining us. Check the description box, y'all. And as always, I love you.